Now we've got something completely different. Tim, from birds and fish eagles and everything else, and fluffy tail whatsits to meerkats.
Yeah, Q, now I think we're going to presently go across and discover a wee bit more about what I think is an interesting project. And I think it's a lot more complex than we even understand about how easy it is to click a few buttons on our computer and watch meerkats live. And of course, a bit of a background. Years ago, Graham started Africam, which was really, I guess, a pioneer in its lifetime of cams all over the world, cams in South Africa, and we had Africam radio where we could refer to the cameras and talk about different species that we saw on the cameras, and it was a worldwide phenomenon with how this grew. And of course, everything has a changing cycle about how people enjoy watching their wildlife. They've had safari cams. There was one up at one stage, a live broadcast daily from Pilanesberg. But of course, these things always need to be changed and updated. And I found it just so interesting talking to Graham to discover more about the project that they're doing at the moment.
And he's joining us now. We've got Graham Wallington on the line. Good morning, Graham. He's the CEO of Wild Earth. Lots of CEOs with us this morning. Good morning, Graham.
Good morning.
Morning, Graham. It's I suppose a little strange. Wild Earth. Is the Earth wild, or are there still places around the Earth that are wild?
I'm very happy to report, Tim, from the wild that there is still a lot of wild places out there.
Where are you exactly at the moment, Graham? Can you describe where you are?
I'm in Johannesburg.
Oh, then you don't need to describe it. Well, I thought you were out somewhere filming meerkats.
Well, we've got an operation that we're filming meerkats live, and also filming them in 3D, down in Tswalu Game Reserve, which is in the Northern Cape, not far from Kuruman and near the Botswana and Namibian borders.
Okay, and when will that be starting, Graham?
That has already been going for the last few days in a sort of a deep beta testing mode, and from today or tomorrow we'll be doing it full time. But you can watch it anytime you like at wildearth.tv, and click on one of the meerkat links. We've got quite an array of other wildlife live cameras from all over the world, but you'll easily find the meerkats and click on there. The guys are broadcasting from 7 o'clock every morning until about 6:30 in the evening, which is when the meerkats go back underground into their burrows.
Okay, Tim?
Graham, yeah, because some of the sort of aspects of this, you mentioned quite happily that this has been filmed in 3D, but I think let's take a step back a little bit and discover why meerkats and why the interest in these little animals for people around the world.
Okay, Tim, it's an interesting question. You know, we've worked on lots of broadcasts. In fact, I think this is almost the 100th live animal broadcast that I've worked on in my life, and I've worked on lots of different kinds of animals. And I think meerkats really stand apart from other animals in the sense that they're firstly very cute, which I think obviously is a big factor, but also they have an exceedingly interesting social structure with an alpha female and an alpha male, which the alpha female is the only one that's really allowed to breed, or supposedly allowed to breed, and then an extended family of meerkats that live together in groups ranging from very small, 5 or 6 animals, all the way up to about 40, all marauding around together and foraging. And the dynamism of that story and what goes on in their lives, I think, makes them very enigmatic and very easy to relate to from a human perspective. And I think that the Meerkat Manor films that were done a few years ago really, entrenched that feeling amongst people. And then also in the United Kingdom, meerkats have become a very big deal as there's a very humorous commercial campaign by an insurance company which has used meerkats very effectively, and I think they're now part of the culture in the UK.
Are they friendly creatures to film, Graham?
Yes, they are. We're focusing on telling the story of one particular gang called the Gossa Meerkat Gang, and also now another one, the Yakos June Gang as well, as they've moved into the area. And they when you first start working with meerkats, as Tim well knows, he's been there many, many times, they can be quite nervous, but they very quickly get used to human beings, amazingly quickly, actually. And now our crew of 4 guys that are down there, living there and working with them every day, and walking with them every day, have literally become a part of the gang. So much so that meerkats go up on sentry whenever the group is foraging. 1 or 2 of them will try and get a high point and look for predators, and that high point now is often our camera rig itself. And they now treat the guys as a part of the group, and we often are filming them, from merely inches away from them as they go about their daily business.
Wow, you lucky. Tim?
Kind of interesting there, though, Graham. Although they will use you, it's a completely hands-off policy. You habituate with the wildlife, become part of the, as you said, the meerkat gang. But it's not a case of come here and let me remove that flea or scratch your chin.
No. There has to be a boundary, and that's for everybody's sake. Obviously, from a meerkat's perspective, if we were to start feeding them or getting really involved on that level. If we were to move from being observers to, should we say, participants in their lives, that would affect them, and it would damage their lives. And we work closely with Swalu, the landowners, who it's a magnificent property, but it's extremely well run, and there's some very strict rules, and a lot has been learnt over the years of how to do things and how not to do things, and we're fitting in with them to make sure that we don't end up in a situation where we're doing any harm to the animals at all.
I like that.
Now,
Disrespect. Yeah. Sorry, Tim. I just have one SMS here very quickly. Somebody says, one of my neighbors has 2 meerkat in a townhouse. Is this allowed? It's from Michelle.
Yeah, I'll go on to that. Michelle,
you better do that.
Hopefully your neighbours got permits for those meerkat. Unfortunately, if people can prove that the meerkats are 2nd or more generation captive bred, then they are allowed. Those meerkats are mostly going to live the most terrible, miserable life, because humans will be very kind to them, and humans won't allow them to be meerkats. And eventually they will bite people. They'll become a little grumpy because they just want to be part of the meerkat gang. And hopefully people see sense and get those meerkats across to somewhere like Freeme, who will put them into a hacking variety and put them into a release program and get them back out where they should be. And of course, sometimes, unfortunately, though, there's also a lot of inbreeding, and from time to time, people have taken their teeth out. So as you'll hear, I'm not very keen on any form of wildlife being stuck in somebody's townhouse, let alone sort of in their back garden. Graham, back to the filming side of it. You mentioned how just sort of happily, you filming in 3D. What is 3D filming, and how easy is it to do?
Okay, Wild Earth is now one of the largest producers of 3D wildlife content in the world, and we have our own 3D television channel. In fact, it's the only fully focused wildlife 3D TV channel in the world, which we distribute in France, the Dominican Republic, India, and shortly in Peru and Chile. And we produce all of our own content for our channel, and the process of filming wildlife in 3D basically involves using 2 cameras, one representing the left eye and one representing the right eye. And they film next to each other, they're synced together, and they're exactly identical. And then in post-production, we join, if you will, those 2 eye views together, allowing it to be displayed on a 3D TV to give the full stereoscopic, as it's called, effect for the viewer. And it's a complex process which we've been pioneering on in many ways for wildlife filming now for about 2 years. This particular project has several distinct complexities. First of all, we wanted to film the entire thing at meerkat eye level. So whether it's the live broadcast that you can watch for free and in 2D on the internet, or whether it was the 3D television show that comes out once a month, we wanted to film the whole thing as if you were a meerkat. So we built a very, very small 3D camera rig, which is on the end of a long pole, which the camera operators wear around them. It's a 3.5 meter long camera system, which they actually wear and walk with the meerkats, and keep the camera right down at meerkat eye level in amongst them. It's a very, very interesting view. If you go and have a look at it on the internet, you'll say, wow, I've never seen it done like that before. And this allows you to feel that you're right down there. We record that footage, and every day the guys take it back to the camp and log it, and then send it out to us once a week in Johannesburg, where we work on it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I like that idea of the eye level, because suddenly you'll discover that a kudu or a eland or even maybe a small springbok is actually quite a fearsome animal.
Oh, yes, they're big. They really, in fact, you start discovering that little grubs are big, Tim, and everything's big from a meerkat's perspective. They're tremendously courageous little animals, though. Industrious, productive, courageous little guys. It doesn't take long before you fall desperately in love with them, I must say.
Graham, we've got a couple of SMSs saying how can people get onto this link to watch these meerkats from their PC? Can they do it from a PC?
You can do it from any PC anywhere in the world, as long as it's connected to the internet.
Okay.
And you can go to www.wildearth, WildeArth.tv/meerkats, or just go to wildearth.tv and you'll see plenty of links peppered everywhere taking you to go and see them.
Okay.
You can also watch it on ustream.tv. Just search for meerkats there. It's exactly the same video stream. And you can get involved in the community and chat about it and get involved. You can also go to tswalu.com, tswalu.com, and you can also watch it from there. Tswalu has the live stream on their website, and you could be a part of the whole Tswalu story there as well.
Okay, and that will be up on our website as well. We'll give you those links if people want to have a look at that. We'll tell you exactly where to go to watch these creatures. It just sounds marvelous. And then Dave sends me an SMS saying, I was bitten by a meerkat. The lady said it was tame, but it drew blood. Do meerkats carry rabies?
Yes,
I think
they do.
Tim, again, yeah, they definitely can.
Tim?
Yeah, meerkats do carry rabies, unfortunately, Q. They are a carrier of various little diseases in that way. So, one would just have to be very, very careful where you were you in a rabies area, etc., when bitten, and take the appropriate action. So, it's a case of all little animals like that are known to carry it. And in fact, in places like Namibia, kudu have even been found to be rabies carriers. So, I don't think everybody would get it, but of course, rabies is not a very nice disease to have, and there's been a very low survival rate across the world. Graham, one of the other interesting aspects with this, though, is you're most probably making a first this morning. Not only are you doing 3D meerkats for the first time, but also this program has been quite lucky in getting the first broadcast on the project you're doing.
That's right. This is the first time that we've come out about what we're working on, as you might say it, and we're kind of quite proud. We think this has got the chance of being a super successful live broadcast, and we're very happy that 702 is the first to sort of tell the world about it. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of our viewers and fans all over the world are listening right now to the radio show, and it's just great that it's starting off in South Africa.
Okay, and people are listening. People are just saying this is fascinating. They can't wait to watch. Graham, just so you know, we're getting response. And somebody wants to know, are meerkats only found in South Africa?
No, they're found in the Kalahari, which includes Botswana, Namibia, and parts of South Africa.
Okay, but it is Southern Africa. It's exclusively Southern Africa, Graham?
That's correct. 100% exclusive Southern Africa. Meerkats aren't found anywhere outside of Southern Africa.
Okay, well, that's that one. Any chance, somebody says, is there any chance of seeing this lovely the stream on our televisions? That's from Jan.
Well, the live stream on the televisions I don't think will be available in South Africa anytime soon, unfortunately. But it is available in other parts of the world, and the 3D content, which tells the whole story in 3D in half-hour episodes about the Kalahari meerkats, is available, and also if you have a 3D TV, you can get it in on Blu-rays, and I think it'll be in both German, English, and French as well. So there are ways to watch it on your television.
Okay, now we have a call from Sue in Gordons Bay. Hi, Sue. Good morning.
And a jolly good morning to you. Love your program. There was a couple here in some west, and they had a couple of meerkats, a male and female. They had them from babies. They weren't say how they got them. And the next thing is they hand-reared them, and they are wild animals. And when these, especially the male meerkat, when he grew older, he was about 2 years old, he started turning on the human. He was fighting for the alpha. He started fighting. He was fighting the dogs, and it became thoroughly unpleasant. They had to keep them in separate rooms and so on. They are wild animals. Eventually, the couple realized that what had to go. They had to go, so they found them a home at Monkey Town here in Gordons Bay. And now you've got two happy wild animals. People must not try and domesticate wild animals. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Sue. You both agree with that, obviously, Graham and Tim.
Yes, 100%. I mean, they're wonderful. They're very cute. One sees the temptation to want to have them with you all the time, but it's not possible. They must be allowed to stay in the wild. Enjoy them over your computer or on television, but they're not pets.
Okay, we've got Naomi in Joburg. Hi, Naomi. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Happen to be listening into your program. I have a book here called Meerkat Valley, written by Elaine de Grey and Sylvie Roberts. I don't know whether you people know about it. It's a coffee table book, and I'd like to donate it to whichever company you think would like to have it.
Guys?
Wow, that is wonderful. And I think, what might be really lovely to do with that is to take it up to Swallow, if you would like us to do that. Take it up, Graham, and you did say that you were keen on one of the occasions when I'm up at Swallow to go across to the broadcast and actually broadcast this program live from the Meerkats. And it might be a lovely thing to put down onto that program and refer to it while we're broadcasting.
That'd be wonderful, Tim, if you could do that. And thank you so much for that donation. And I think that people would really enjoy it. We had so many guests that come through to Swallow to enjoy the meerkats, and any extra things like that can just help them to understand these wonderful animals more. So a very generous gift.
Okay, Graham, I need to take a quick spot break, but can you repeat now, and then we'll do it again before we let you go? People saying, repeat, please, slowly, the website for the meerkats.
Okay. It's Wild Earth, WILDEARTH.TV.
Okay.
That's it. Just wildearth.tv.
Wildearth.tv. We'll talk more with Graham and Tim after this. Okay, welcome back. We've got about 3 minutes left with Graham Wallington. He's the CEO of Wild Earth, and that website again is wildearth.tv. If you want to watch this marvelous 3D rendition of these meerkats, their daily lives, just following their daily lives. I've got an SMS here, Graham, that says, are there meerkats in the Kruger Park?
No, there aren't. There are no meerkats in the Kruger Park. In South Africa, the meerkats are pretty much focused on parts of the Karoo and into the Kalahari. So there are no meerkats in the Lowveld at all.
Okay, is there a reason for that? Is it habitat?
Yes, it is. It is definitely habitat, but I would also say that it's also competition for food, and it's just the way things evolved. Meerkat actually evolved from the banded mongoose, and apparently, although I'm not sure it's 100% certain, and maybe Tim knows more, but started off further south towards the Cape, and then over a long period of time, slowly moved further and further north into the Kalahari.
Tim?
Yeah, no, so you do find the larger communities, the larger meerkat communities are in places like Tswalu and, of course, going into the Kalahari. Remember that they are a ground burrowing animal, and therefore one of the things will always stick in the back of your mind. I need to live where there is soft sand, and I can make my home down that sand. And I think that's one of the interesting things, is looking at the different creatures also that share those burrow systems and the complexities of the burrow system itself. And I do know that in the future, we're going to chat to Graham about the burrow systems of the meerkats and what they are finding with their filming and the way that they're going to be able to bring burrow systems to us in the future. And, I think the one lovely thing with this is it allows you a peek into the life of wildlife. And like Vimmer, the virtual museum, it's allowing us this peek without interference, without having to dig up burrows, without having to capture meerkats. It's as they are in the wild. And therefore, also, the public have got to be very relaxed when watching these things because, of course, nobody is doing anything on cue.
Okay, and guys, we're coming up to news time, but I see, Graham, that you say that very soon we will, as Tim just mentioned about the burrow system, you will have cameras underground, so we'll be able to watch them at night as well.
That's the plan. Right now, we're just getting the system working so that we can go from when they wake up until when they go to sleep. And the next part of the project is to actually begin a big project to get a lot of people involved to scan using ground-penetrating radar the 5 different burrow systems in the area that we work, and eventually put cameras all throughout those burrows so we can watch them at night for the first time ever.
And I'm going to end with this SMS from Jenny, who says the book Meerkat Valley is absolutely magnificent. I have it, and there's no way I part with it. What fascinates me about meerkats is their community structure. They have a creche with nannies, security officers watching sky for eagles, and hunters. The Kalahari is magic, and it just sounds that way. And we'll be able to watch that magic by going to wildearth.tv. Right, Graham?
Absolutely. Thank you very, very much for your time and giving the opportunity to get this out for the first time.
That's it. Graham Wallington, he's CEO of Wild Earth. Tim, that's us for this week. I hope to see you in studio next week.
It's us for this week. I'll be in studio next week. This does work, and at least it'll give us an interesting way of broadcasting when we do from the Meerkat gang and finding out a little bit more about them while watching their life.
Okay, thank you so much, Tim. Have a wonderful week, and for everybody else, have a great week, and we'll be back next week. It is now time for Eyewitness News. It's just after 7 o'clock.